Hello and welcome into Main Street Preps this week. I'm Russell Venozzi, joined as always by Tyler Palmatier. We're back for another episode. Today we're going to talk to Brentwood Academy point guard Tyler Tanner, who just announced his commitment to Vanderbilt last week. And we are also going to catch up on a variety of news and notes that if you've been on vacation, you might have missed. So before we jump into all that, though, I want to remind everybody this podcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Let's go ahead and bring in Tyler now, who's going to join us by video here if you're watching on screen. Tyler, congrats on your commitment, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
So you just made a big announcement last Friday that you were going to be joining the Vanderbilt Commodores after you graduate high school next year. What sold you on the program and ultimately pushed you to make that decision?
It was a lot of different factors that played into it. Number one being they're in the SEC. Which is where I wanted to play, growing up and stuff like that. I think it's the best conference for a guard to play in. I'm going to be playing against really good guards, which will make me better. And then the staff there at Vanderbilt, I love every one of the coaches there. They've poured into me a lot since I first was introduced to the program, and that was really important in my decision. And then just the education at Vanderbilt, the connections I'll build there outside of basketball are really important too.
Hey, Tyler, it's nice to have another Tyler on the show. So thanks for joining us. This is a big year for you, man. Winning state championship, which was something you guys had been really focused on after some tough finishes in previous years, and now committing to an SEC school, which, as you mentioned, has been a dream for you for a long time. How cool have just the last few months been? Have you had a chance to just sit down and maybe think or talk with people about, just all the great things that have kind of happened in your life?
Yeah, I'm very blessed, very thankful. A lot of people around me who have poured into me, Coach Blackson here at BA, and then all my Bradley Beal family. It's been a really cool couple months. I had a really fun summer playing AAU with Bradley Beal. Probably my best AAU summer yet. I enjoyed it a lot. Really sad that it's over. Last year, winning state was something we've been really close to. The 3 years before that, we lost in the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and in the finals. So finally winning that was, great. I've talked to y'all about that before, but yeah, I'm just blessed, thankful, and it's all God.
So Tyler, you had plenty of options to choose from. You had some pretty interesting offers like Belmont, Murray State, Ole Miss. Of course, Vanderbilt offered last summer. What was your recruitment like, and how did you go about weighing those options?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the recruiting process, learning more about different schools, different ideas and stuff. My top three at the end were Murray State, Belmont, and Vanderbilt. Three amazing programs. I knew wherever I went, I would fit. I really liked the coaches at every spot. I visited every school, and I had a really good time. But after Peach Jam was when I wanted to decide where I was going to be spending my college career. And so I talked a lot with my family, the most, my mom and dad. I talked with Coach Blackson here at BA, our head coach, some of my boys, my really close friends, and my Bradley Beal director. I talked to him too, just about the pros and cons of each, what one school would have rather than what another school would have. And once I talked to everybody about it and had a little time to just sit down and think about it, I think the decision was pretty clear.
Well, what's the most appealing part about playing for Jerry Stackhouse, Tyler?
I think it's the experience that he has. He played 17 or 18 years in the league. Obviously, he played at North Carolina. He has a lot of connections in the basketball world. So I think he can teach me a lot from a player standpoint and connect me with a lot of people. And I think connections is one of the most important things in a career, especially in basketball, because if he knows people, he can introduce me to people and show me some new things.
So Tyler, with you going to Vanderbilt, that's not going to do anything to kind of stop these comparisons people like to make between you and Brentwood Academy alum Darius Garland, who also played at Vandy just briefly before heading off to the NBA. Now, obviously, you guys are different players and everything, but how much do you look up to Darius, and how he sort of helped you, through your basketball career there at Brentwood Academy?
Yeah, I definitely look up to Darius, mainly because he shows me anything's really possible. He was in my shoes not too long ago, so that shows me, if he does it, like, why can't I do it? So That gives me a lot of confidence in myself that I can really do anything I set my mind to if I work hard at it and practice. He's helped me a lot. I call him sometimes, ask him about, some different decisions that I'll make, whether it's college or where I'm going to play AAU and stuff. He helped me get to Bradley Beal as well because he played there as well. So, yeah, I'm really thankful for Darius. I am very thankful to be compared to him, obviously, because he's an all-star and one of the best point guards in the NBA. But, yeah, he's been pretty important, and he's a really good dude.
What is, Tyler, right now, as it stands in July, what is your official height? You at 6 feet?
Yes, sir. I'm 6 foot.
6 even. Okay. I was well, and people who don't know or don't watch you they might be surprised to know that you can get well above the rim and dunk one-handed and in traffic even. How much do you work on that explosiveness and how much is natural?
I would say a good amount is natural. I've always been pretty athletic just growing up, playing with my friends in the driveway and stuff. But the credit I would give the most to is Scotty Real here at BA. He's our strength trainer. He came here my 8th grade year, and I've been working with him ever since, just getting stronger. And I think that plays a big role in my improvement as a basketball player, is just getting stronger in the gym. I think my upper body strength, my lower body strength, everything has helped me be a lot better basketball player for sure.
Yeah, and people talk about that first step as a guard, but sometimes it's that last step that's just as important, finishing a play and just being able to get up to the rim. How important is that tool for you in your toolbox to be able to make opponents respect you? How much do you see that as an aspect that really helps round out your game and complement your shooting?
Yeah, I think it's really important because as a point guard, getting downhill, causing another person to help will open up a lane for another player on my team. So, because I really like to share the ball, get my teammates open, put them in good positions to score. So, getting downhill, them respecting me, finishing at the rim will, open up positions for my teammates. But also, if I jab or something, they're going to be helping in the lane. So that might open up my jump shot too.
Last season at Brentwood Academy, you really did a little bit of everything, averaging 19.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 3.1 steals per game, a really well-rounded stat line. What kind of feedback has Vanderbilt given you on how they plan to use you when you get on campus?
I think at Vanderbilt, I'm going to be a little less of a scorer, more of a pure point guard. When I talk to Coach Stack, he really likes my game, and he really likes that I play like Jason Kidd. That's who he compares me to a lot. So, yeah, I think I'm going to step in to make that impact as a pure point guard, get others open, still defend, play defense, rebound. But, yeah, a little bit more of a pure point guard.
What has it been like to play under Andy Blackston? He was hired before this past season. How close have you guys been able to get during that time?
Yeah, me and Coach Blackston are really close. I met him the first day he came here. He introduced himself to our team. Ever since then, everything about BA, for my experience, has been a lot better. Last year, we would do Bible studies that he introduced to our team. He's just a really good coach. Anytime I have a question about philosophies or anything in basketball, I can go ask him. We've gotten really, really close in this past year. He's probably one of my favorite coaches ever. I really love Coach Blackston and everything that he's done for me.
A few weeks ago, we had former station camp and Vanderbilt basketball star John Jenkins on the show. And, of course, he's one of those guys that, especially growing up in high school and college, he was just living in the gym all the time. He talked about how obsessed he is with practicing, never took a day off even when he was younger. And I think eventually he's kind of learned that it's good to take some breaks, good to kind of take care of your body and stuff too. But I guess, Tyler, what's your practice and shooting routine like? Are you always in the gym or do you try to take some breaks to, maybe do some other hobbies and stuff?
Yeah, I would agree with him. I love to stay in the gym, pretty much in the gym every day, with the exception of, like after AAU, I'll probably take like a week or two off just to, let my body recoup. But I love staying in the gym, shooting with some of my teammates or getting in here, working out with Jamal or Spencer Richardson at BA. I think staying in the gym keeps you sharp. And whenever you're in the game, reps show. So if you're working on something, it's gonna pay off in the game for sure.
Who is a high school player in the area, Tyler, who is not on your team, who you really respect and why? And as a bonus, I'm sure you respect all your teammates, but maybe tell us a guy for BA that's going to maybe surprise some people next year.
I would probably say Joey Nixon. He's Jason Nixon's little brother. He's been, kind of one of our bench players the past couple of years. But he's a really good player. He can really shoot it, as you can see in Jason. It kind of runs in the family. But I think he'll surprise some people this year, coming out and making an impact on the varsity level for sure.
And who is who is another player in the high school area not on your team whose game you really respect?
One of the guys I really like from Nashville is Trey Pearson from JP2 or Pope. He plays on Bradley Beal, but I've got to watch him this summer to see him improve and get better. I think he'll have a really good year this year. He's only a sophomore. He's gotten a lot better since last year, so I think he'll surprise a lot of people.
Tyler, one more for you, and then we'll let you go. But, of course, with going to Vanderbilt, you're going to get to play in front of your hometown fans, friends, and all that, family. How cool is that going to be for you? And how much did that sort of play into your decision, too, the opportunity to sort of stick around Nashville and go to college here?
Yeah, I think staying home is really important. I wasn't going to change my college decision based off whether a school was here or, anywhere else, California, wherever. But Vandy was just perfect, so it just happened to be in Nashville. But I think it's going to be really fun. I've had a lot of people tell me, like, yeah, we're going to have to get season tickets, just people from here wanting to come support Vandy. And I've said this before, but I think a lot of people from Vandy are going to support me because I'm from here, and then a lot of people who support me are going to really support Vandy. So I think it's a two-way deal, and it should be really special.
Yeah, it'll be great to have that support system right here in town. So, Tyler, congratulations once again on your commitment to Vanderbilt, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right, that has been Brentwood Academy point guard Tyler Tanner. He's still got one more year there with the Eagles. Should be a fun senior year after winning the state title last season. But we're going to take a quick break now, and then we'll come back with some news and notes from around the area. So stick around for that.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try. There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time. Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Cover your name, sir. You know where you are right now?
We are back here on Main Street Preps this week, and even though it's July, the news cycle has not stopped. So we're going to get to several items here. Tyler, starting with the Metro football turf fields that are incoming. They just broke ground yesterday at Pearl-Cohn with an official ceremony. Of course, some work has been going on before that, but based on your story, it seems like some of the projects out there are not going to be done in time for the season.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. And of course, those schedules have already all been rearranged to accommodate that. I think that was probably an expectation that the progress was not enough, that there was going to be home openers, home season openers, and maybe even, the second week. So those have been kind of tweaked a little bit. And I guess it's important to note that those, I reached out to Metro yesterday, and some quote of the games have been swapped. So I don't believe all of them have been swapped. That might be, there might be a lost home game or two in there, which is too bad. That's some lost revenue. And It's important to note first off that it's a good thing. It's nice that this finally got done. Metro athletic director Mark North said, obviously the conversations to help get this really big, it was one of his priorities when he took the job in 2021, but really the conversations and the desires about this have been going on for, about a decade to get this, because it's been something that's been a point of interest for a long time. So it's good that it's finally getting done, and they're not all going to get done in 1 year. It's going to take some time for them all to get done, but ultimately great long-term project that the Titans and the mayor's office helped get off the ground. And of course, there's a lot of fundraising going on with the Fans Incorporated side, headed up by Jamie Holland. So there's a lot of people working on it, and it's great that they got it going. It's too bad, really, that there was a delay on the construction, or I shouldn't say the construction. I think there were just to secure the funding, the government red tape that had to happen, the approvals for funding, and finding a contractor that took a while. I think coaches are probably just wondering, some of them do kind of have their hands up in the air. If this was announced in November, why maybe was there no planning that the funding could be allocated more quickly before that? It was nice to announce it in earnest back in November, but what was maybe why was there no forethought into making sure this happened a little quicker? And that, unfortunately, that was the case here. But it's a $15 million project, a lot of efforts going into it. They didn't start taking bids until April, so probably in April, coaches realized this is going to take a second. The contractor wasn't approved, or what the bid, which is not a local contractor. It's Georgia-based Field Turf USA. That contractor that bid was not officially accepted till May 9th. So certainly by May 9th, they probably thought this could take a second, but then you're still talking about 2 months between the contractor being selected and the work being done. So there's a little bit of curiosity and maybe a little frustration on the coach's part why this is happening this way, especially at East, which is probably in the most difficult position because it doesn't have a practice field, and that is the one school where the work hasn't even begun. There hasn't been a shovel put into the ground. So I know that's tough. That's tough for that program, especially with a new coach and Damian Harris, who is juggling kind of beginning a season and then also dealing with a logistic that probably isn't too fun. He's driving the bus. He'll be driving the bus back and forth to Bailey Middle School, which is about a couple miles away from East, to accommodate practices until that field is done. So that's a lot going on for them, a little bit of lost time. So ultimately a lot of good news and a little bit of just hurdles, I guess I should say, and some things to get over for those 3 schools, Pearl Cone and Whites Creek and East Nashville, until those fields can get done this season. And I think the goal probably moving forward is, and it'll be a little bit easier moving forward to get the next group. It's 3 schools per year. It'll be easier moving forward to get those schools, probably get those fields built before their seasons begin. So I would say there's pretty good chance that this won't happen again to another school, hopefully.
Some short-term pain for a long-term gain there for the Metro football fields coming in. Switching gears a little bit, Tyler, you wrote about on Monday, Father Ryan left-handed pitcher Matthew Shorey committed to Vanderbilt baseball, and it got me thinking that, wow, there's really going to be some local flavor on that pitching staff in a few years when you look at it, because Ethan McIlvain, Nolensville pitcher, ended up going undrafted, turned down some MLB offers, so he'll be going to campus this year. Ethan Robinson from DCA, I believe, is already enrolled this summer, so he'll be there. And then you've got Miller Green from Lipscomb Academy, who recently joined the class. And then, of course, Matthew Shorey will be coming. There's actually several guys in the 2024 class that'll be there. Matthew Shorey, Roman Petrica from Mount Juliet, I believe Hudson Barton from Grace Christian, and Connor Cobb from Innsworth. And then you've already got Colton Region from Mount Juliet and Ryan Ginther on the pitching staff right now. So anyways, a lot of local talent there heading to Vanderbilt, and should be fun to keep up with those guys as they sort of move on with their careers. And of course, of that group, hopefully multiple players will have good careers. And if you have a good career at Vanderbilt, you are likely right in the mix for the MLB draft. So be fun to keep up with those guys as time kind of goes on here.
Yeah. And the two big Vanderbilt has to just be tickled to be able to reel in Miller Green and Ethan McIlvain during the month of June, and I guess early part of July, to be able to get those two kind of at the last minute. Ethan being a guy they weren't sure, I would say in the high school season, you're probably thinking 50-50 chance he'll sign with a pro team. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking on both sides. When we talked to Ethan, I think he was still talking about having a decision to make. So, but being able to get both those guys, and especially Miller Green, a guy that been committed to Georgia Tech for a long time and had officially signed. Miller is certainly at his size, and being a left-hander can be an effective pitcher, but then there's also the possibility we'll see how well he hits at the next level. And he really came on as a hitter late in this season after overcoming an injury. So definitely some good possibilities with him being able to help the offense and the defense. And then just to add on about Shorey, that was a guy whose recruitment maybe to a lot of us flew under the radar a little bit, but he is an electric pitcher, and his velocity's gone up 4 or 5 miles an hour every year since he was a freshman. And with the weight he'll be capable to put on at a little over 6 feet, already at 180, he's going to have there's the possibility and definitely the potential to put on more to that fastball, which I topped out at 90 miles an hour against Macaulay in the state tournament this year. So yeah, it's been a good month or two for Vanderbilt baseball.
And over at Brentwood Academy, they are reeling in some transfers right now on the football side. 4 guys recently, I guess within the last week or so, have all arrived over there at BA. And that includes Oakland running back / wide receiver T.T. Hill. He had a really big season there for Oakland last year, I believe, as a sophomore. Tyler, you might want to jump in here and correct me. But, yeah, a lot of playmakers heading over to Brentwood Academy to join George McIntyre and company over there.
Yeah, T.T. Hill really came on as that. And, yeah, you're right, as a sophomore, a guy that just kind of had a breakout season. And when I saw him at Ravenwood, he was fantastic. That was one of my, I think, 2 times to see him that year. But especially he was great in that game. And just he also has he's kind of like a jitterbug type runner. He can return kicks, really electric playmaker, and he's got a few offers, but he definitely stands to benefit from what's happening with this offense. A lot of people are going to come to watch George McIntyre, obviously, at quarterback. And then when you talk about the other receivers they've brought in, Shavar Young, the Knox Webb transfer and Tennessee commitment, that it brings eyeballs on you if you're T.T. Hill to get some more looks. There'll certainly be some more looks for him. If he's playing well, that he stands to benefit, and he's got a couple of years there to really get ingrained in that offense. And just from the team side of things, we look at BA finishing last year so close to getting to the state championship game and so close to beating eventual state champion Baylor with that play. They were literally inches away from winning that game with a goal line stop, kind of stopping their playoff run. That's a team that was already knocking on the door and got a lot done last year with a receiving core that, beyond Ian Scott, the senior that graduated, he had 616 yards receiving, but nobody else below him had more than 400 yards receiving. McIntyre was really able to spread out the production to a lot of players, but it's not like there was a dominant player that was running up and down the field. So without those transfers, you wonder how that would look. It'd be a lot of young receivers for McIntyre to throw to. And certainly he's good enough to spread it around and sort of increase the production around him, make players better, because he's got a lot of accuracy and arm strength and just ability to make plays where there are none, and even with his feet. So, but these are huge transfers for Brentwood Academy's goal of winning a state championship. So just increases sort of the entertainment factor of that D2 AAA schedule and the competition there. It's going to be a fun race to watch. There are so many good players in that classification. It is, once again, solidified itself as the top level of competition in the state.
It's a small group of teams, but a dominant group of teams. And yeah, whoever emerges from that is really going to have earned it. Tyler, a couple weeks ago, I was out of town and walked into a sports bar. Of course, ESPN was on the TV, and there was Brandon Miller playing for the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA Summer League. Of course, the former Cane Ridge standout that went number 2 overall in the NBA draft back in June. Really just kind of neat to see him already in an NBA uniform, at, I guess, age 19 or so. I guess we always knew he was going to be really good, but you never can. It's hard to project somebody being a one and done. But here he is, and he had a nice showing in Summer League. 5 games, he averaged 15.2 points, 6.8 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.2 steals. He shot 31% on threes, 38% from field goal range. So he wasn't exactly the most efficient, but, that's okay. I mean, he takes a lot of shots. He's out there a lot. And when he gets going, that's how you end up with those 30 or 40-point nights. But the shooting was a little bit down there for him. But he was holding his own against Victor Wembanyama. I saw a clip where Victor tried to drive in the lane and Brandon Miller denied him, and I believe it ended in a turnover. So anyways, just neat to see Miller going toe-to-toe with some of the best rookies out there, kind of ahead of his first season in the league.
Yeah, and it's kind of a small sample size, and you don't want to judge too much on the Summer League, but also you've seen guys can go out there and have it really rough. They get kind of nervous, and it's a little bit new to them, and it doesn't always go well for everyone in the Summer League as a rookie. And as we saw a little bit with Wemby, he had some struggles that all of a sudden came to light, I guess, including the thing with Britney Spears. If you can avoid a huge pop culture story surrounding you during the Summer League, that's certainly a benefit. But, Miller did well, I thought, and I think his scoring landed him somewhere around the 30th highest scoring range in the Summer League, which is solid. Nothing else. 15 points and 8 rebounds, about 7 rebounds. That doesn't surprise me at all. He's also a guy that just seems like he's a shoo-in for about 7 to 8, 9 rebounds a game. So that's important too for what he's capable of doing at the next level.
Couple more items quickly here on the way out. So the TWSAA instituted a $250 fine for schools with bad fans. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, interesting stuff. The short answer is the TSSA can definitely fine those fans. There is an appeals process. There's also an emphasis on officials can't just start throwing coaches and fans out of the game. It goes for players too. So there's a little bit more of a structure and emphasis on what they need to do before they start throwing people out. And if those officials don't follow that this doesn't have to be a fine for fans. There's going to be a little bit of a process where they can determine what happens. But ultimately, yeah, definitely a development in the effort to increase some bad fan behavior, which is an emphasis by the NFHS as of a year or two ago.
And then lastly, Nashville Christian has hired a new girls basketball coach to replace Dustin Patton, who went over to Goodpasture to take the boys' job when Adam Hassan resigned a couple months ago. And Nashville Christian went with Gary Van Atta, who just wrapped up a college coaching career, a lengthy one at Montevallo. He's also coached at Trevecca and UT Martin. So a big get for them. I believe he's got over 700 wins at the college level. And so now he joins the Nashville Christian staff that's got really 2 veteran coaches. On the boys' side, they've got John Pierce, of course, the Lipscomb just prolific scorer from the 90s who had a nice career there at Franklin Road Academy as the coach. Now Van Atta on the girls' side, that's going to be a great basketball program over at Nashville Christian as they, I believe they're renovating their gym pretty soon, if not already. So should be some good hoops played over there. And that is going to do it for today. Before we get out of here, I want to remind everybody this podcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. For Tyler Palmatier, I'm Russell Venozzi, and this has been the Main Street Preps podcast. We'll see you next time.